get this camera just right. There we go. Hey y'all, there's nobody here. Well, I think there's one person here so far. But to all of y'all watching the reruns, hello. I know a lot of y'all don't get to watch the lives, but you wind up watching them in reruns later on in the day or the week. Oh, let me pause a second to go on Do Not Disturb. Okay, I think I'm back. And I'm gonna get my chat up on my laptop here. Not too bad of it. Looks almost in sync. Little bit of a delay. So sorry for the wet head, you guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I just stepped out of the shower. No lewd comments, please. Keep that to yourselves. But I have found, as I've been working from the house these past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, I guess. That I've been, I used to shower every morning before work. Now I'm finding that, well, I'm going to get stinky smoking my pipe. So I've been pushing my shower to the afternoons, sometimes into the evenings. So what's funny about that is if I wait too long, and take a shower at like 5 or 6 or whatever, I play video games a good bit at night. It was one of my forms of entertainment, and I'll wear a headset a lot of the time. So if I have a wet head, I'll wind up with this nice little divot or trench in my hair by the time I'm done. But I think I have a bit of a natural divot or a wave to it anyway, but oh, so I'm smoking. Oh, let me get my chat up. Sir James, Jonathan Spurgeon, Smoking Saeed, Donnie T. Okay, we got it going on. No hat, showing us the cool guy haircut. Not exactly. I'm in need of a haircut. I am definitely in need of a haircut. Typically, I keep my sides, well, you guys know I had long hair for a couple of years there. But when I keep my hair short, I typically keep my sides and the back clipper cut, but not so right now. I am overdue. So anyway, I'm smoking my Dublin filter, shape 999, rusticated from Peterson. It's a 9mm filtered series. In it, I'm going to light up some Captain Earl's Private Stock, which is a good middle of the road Latakia blend. With a little bit, it's got Orientals, Virginia Latakia, of course, and a little bit of Perique. All these Captain Earls come in a crumble cake that's real easy to manage. English blends are interesting for me in that my taste for them kind of comes and goes. It's really the same for my things in my diet. I'll get to where I really like something and I'll eat it almost every day. Like olives, for example. And I'll get all kinds of different kinds of olives. And then I'll just kind of burn out. And so olives are not my snack of choice. And then I'll move on to, macadamia nuts or something like that. But a lot of Kia and aromatic blends are like that for me. I'll have a run of them where I'm really enjoying them. And then I'll get to where I just don't have a taste for them. But through that, my non-aromatics, my Virginias, my Vapors, my Burley-based blends, my Perique blends, and my dark-fired Kentuckys, those treat me well pretty much all the time. And if I don't go out of my way to pick up something like a Latakia blend or an aromatic, I probably never would. I'd probably just reach for the haunted bookshop all the time, Or Pegasus or something similar. But if I did that, I'd be missing out. Dr. Eddie Graybo. Got a typo there, Cliff. I hope you guys are enjoying Pipe Week. I know there's been some videos bandied about, and I know the Pipe Ninja has had his share. I have been conspicuously absent until now. And it's been, I think, 3 weeks since I've done a live stream. So I figured I'd better get into the mix. Hang out, chat with y'all, see what's going on. Cliff, I got a story for you. You were talking about your daughter bringing something to church. I don't want to spoil that story if you guys haven't watched it. I think that video was called This Is a Good One, if y'all want to check out the Pipe Ninja channel. Pull it up in another tab and wait till we're done, But I got a story that I'll give you kind of along those lines. I had a pastor. I went to a small Baptist church when I was a kid. And we had a pastor who was fairly young when I was probably 16, 17. He was probably 24, 25. But he had a family. And he had a kid, he'd had a boy that would always climb under the pews and fall asleep. Just laying on the ground, he'd just fall asleep. And one night after church, we all got to talking and decided we were going to go to Pizza Hut. And we got to Pizza Hut, ordered the food. Of course, there was a kids' table and a couple of grown-up tables, probably a couple of kids' tables. And all of a sudden, my pastor, his name was Don, he was like, "Where is Rob?" He figured Rob was at the kids' table. And they figured out pretty quickly nobody knew where Rob was, and most likely he was still at church. And sure enough, he stormed out of the Pizza Hut and drove down to the church. And there was Rob still sleeping under the pew, thankfully. Didn't know that everyone had shuffled out and the doors had been locked and the lights had been turned out. Don and his wife drove separate cars, I think, so each one of them thought the other one had the kid. Scary moment. What's today? Wednesday the 21st. Hope you guys had a good Father's Day. I did. Man, it was storming here. We didn't go anywhere or do anything. We stayed home and watched movies, played video games, read a book, smoked my pipe. But had a good time with the family. But it's been storming here for over a week, pretty much every day or night for more than a week. Oh, I got a fly in here. Can't be helped. Summer Florida. Oh, that's cool, Cliff. Thank you. Hope you're liking that Melee Smooth 642, Donnie. Hillbilly Piper says, do you take credit cards now or yet? Yes, I do take credit cards. Not in person, but on the website, yes, I take all major credit cards. That'd be Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. Maybe a couple of more. I'm not 100% when we get down the rabbit hole there, because I use authorized.net. You'll probably see that on your invoices. I use authorized.net, which is a very old and trusted merchant services company. Oh yeah, first day of summer, huh? Oh, tomorrow will be the first day of summer. Okay. Or today. Whichever. Summer's upon us. It's 75 degrees in here. This time of the day, if it weren't cool and storming outside, which it is, it'll probably be 77, 78 in here at this point in the day in the heat of the summer, because it'd be 90, 95 outside. Sometimes higher. But anyway, about my Father's Day, I wound up with a new, as a Father's Day gift, I wound up with a new coffee grinder and coffee maker. Two separate ones to replace the all-in-one that I had before. That I've had it for 4 years now. It has served its purpose for a very long time as far as coffee makers go. But it's getting a little long in the tooth, that old one is. Starting to give me problems, and I was afraid it was going to just poop out and I wouldn't have one. And I Drink coffee every day, y'all. If I let myself run out of coffee, I wind up going to the store or to Krispy Kreme or Dunkin' or somewhere to get me some coffee. I do not feel human until I've had my coffee. Do you have any pipes you will only smoke on a particular occasion? A day off pipe or a going on a trip pipe? The only one, well, I have two. The only one that I smoke on a specific day would be my birthday, Dunhill. That was a special treat that I hunted down and found for myself several years ago. So I have a 1975 Dunhill Paul. And yeah, I smoked that on my birthday. I have another one that's a Tinderbox exclusive 1987 Christmas pipe that I would tend to smoke on Christmas. Not every Christmas, but usually. And I try to break out some of the old Christmas cheer as long as it lasts. Pretty much every other pipe I have is fair game any day. Just whatever strikes my fancy. I keep a rotation of about 10 pipes around me here, behind me and in front of me. Of course, my 320s off to the side here. So maybe a dozen pipes with the 320s. But every now and then I'll crack open that case behind me and pick one. And depending on how I feel about it that day, it may replace one of my pipes in my rotation for a while. Man, that Dunkin' Donuts coffee is so good. Particularly what they brew in their stores, in their restaurants, or their coffee shops, or whatever they call themselves these days. But I found that the Dunkin' Donuts coffee that they... Sorry, I got a phone call. Anyway, the Dunkin' Donuts coffees they sell in the grocery stores are just branded Dunkin' Donuts. It's not the same as the blend that they brew in the store. I was really bummed out about that. I can never figure out why Dunkin' Donuts coffee didn't taste as good at my house, because I've got a pretty good coffee maker. I did some reading up on it. Not the same, nor is it as fresh. It's not even from the same roaster, I don't believe. But yeah, their fresh black coffee is so good. Pipe Ninja, quit telling people they don't need more pipes. No, I kid, but yeah, I really related to your video Cliff. When people get into anything, they just feel overwhelmed when they start to meet other people in that realm of interest. And you find the guy that you just bought your first motorcycle and he's got 12 of them in like a huge garage behind his house. There's always a bigger fish, but when it comes to guitar playing or motorcycles or pipes or whatever, if you have one pipe, that's enough. That's enough for you to be a pipe smoker, for you to enjoy the pipe smoking hobby. But odds are you'll get the bug and wind up with at least a handful. But it's not necessary. Let's see how far behind my video is here. How far behind my video is here. Not bad. Not bad. All right. Donnie, I don't typically get the holiday, the Christmas pipes or the St. Patrick's Day pipes or things like that. I probably should, but I feel like I'm concerned I would just, because I'm a small shop, wind up with too many of them. And they would last past the occasion, which I guess would be fine. I could just take them down and put them back up the next year. But for those Christmas pipes, they're always like, there's one new every year. Same with the St. Patty's Day pipes. I may get into that. It seems like one year I did carry, I think, Savinelli Christmas pipes. I do have a Savinelli Christmas pipe as well from that batch, now that I think about it. And I think it's also an Paul, which isn't one of my favorite shapes, but for some reason it lends itself in my mind to like a special occasion pipe. Yeah, Yardism, I have at least 6 times the pipes that I have guitars. They're a little more affordable than guitars are. Relatively speaking. Although they can both get into the thousands. I did want to mention, I'm probably going to make a standalone video, but if y'all didn't get my newsletter from the yesterday, I do have 2 Phoenix pipes from Peterson, 2 shapes in the Phoenix line back in stock now. And I've got plenty of them, so not like last time, I shouldn't sell out nearly as quickly as I do as I did before with that last order. So I have the 106 straight billiard and the 69 bent billiard. And y'all, seriously, if you haven't signed up to my newsletter, I know I mention it a lot. That's a good way to keep in touch with new things happening here at the Pipe Nook. New products, new sales, that kind of thing. Sometimes I'll run a flash sale for just 2 or 3 days on a specific series of pipes or what have you, and if you don't get an email from me, you might miss it because I don't always make a video. Hey, Papa Bear. Seriously? Over 900 pipes? Good grief. I did meet a guy, you guys might remember him because he used to make YTPC videos. His name was Alex Bird. His channel was Birdman. I think he's taken all his videos down. But he, I believe, lived in Boston. I know he was at least from Boston. But he told me the first day I met him at a pipe show in Nashville that he had like 2,000 or 3,000 pipes. He'd been collecting for years. Had a job where he traveled a lot, so he'd look up, you know, pipe and cigar shops all over the place and pick up pipes in various cities around the globe and all over the U.S. That number floored me. 900 still floors me. Papa Bear's given name is Gary. So Gary, I usually just go off of channel names or account names when I'm in chat because my brain sometimes doesn't flitter back and forth between real names and account names. I know Cliff is behind Pipe Ninja, but I usually call him Pipe Ninja. And the same for a lot of folks. And of course, Yardism's name is Chaz. No, I won't do that to him. His name is Chad. Smarty Bob, I think I saw that video. I'm gonna have to make sure now. Now, I don't see every unboxing video from the Pipe Nook. I'm sure I miss them all the time, but I always appreciate it when you guys do that, and shout out the Pipe Nook. What's your favorite smoke these days? Well, if that's for the crew or just myself, I'm not sure, but the rest of y'all can chime in. Mine has honestly become Haunted Bookshop. It might not be my favorite smoke of all time, but it's my go-to daily smoke. And I don't know if it's hard to describe really why. It's just I know what to expect of that blend. I know right out of the tin it's dry enough to smoke it. It's a ribbon cut, so it's easy to load up, and I typically keep an 8-ounce can out here. So probably every third, at least every fourth bowl I smoke is Haunted Bookshop. And if I run out of Haunted Bookshop, I'll move on to like Pegasus or maybe Old Joe Krantz. I tend to go between those three a pretty good bit. The Sarah 8614, I know Rossi has stopped making a lot of 320 shapes in various series and a lot of Umpal shapes in various series. Let's see. I have it on order. And they are still making it, as far as I can tell. But it's on back order right now. So that's hard to say. Hard to say with back orders. Yeah. Cliff, John Harden, you know, I would watch matches, smoke that Haunted Bookshop for years. And I tried it, honestly, just to see why he liked it so much. And I've mentioned that, I've gone on record with this before, but when I tried it for the first time, I didn't like it. I thought it was strong and harsh. And so I jarred it up. I think I smoked 2 bowls and jarred it up. Came back to it 2 or 3 years later, and I was like, yeah, let's try it again, which I do with a lot of blends. And I just didn't understand why I didn't like it before. That was about 3 or 4 years ago now when I tried it the second time, and it has been a mainstay for me since then. I just grew more and more into that blend, into enjoying it. And now, I don't understand why I saw it as, perceived it as harsh or strong. For me, it's a nice, medium-bodied, well-mannered smoke. Taste-wise, almost onto the side of mild, but don't take my word for that. Everybody's different. It's definitely milder, if mild is the right word, than Old Joe Krantz. Or I don't know if you guys have tried a little blend called Kelly's Coin. That, to me, is really, really rough. Strong and harsh. Kelly's Coin is not for me. Also made by C&D, but just not my cup of tea. That's right, Chad. Like, Haunted Bookshop is great right out of the tin as soon as you get it. And it wasn't due to that 2 or 3 years in the jar that tamed it down. I don't sell her Haunted Bookshop because I just like it right out of the tin. And I didn't notice all that much difference with it from the 2 or 3 year age. Two Friends English Chocolate. I have yet to try that. I'm actually going through the Briarworks and the Two Friends blends right now. I've tried all the Briarworks at this point, and I will be carrying the Briarworks blends soon. The verdict's still out on the Two Friends, but based on the lineage and the legacy behind that line of pipe tobaccos, I don't see how they could be bad blends. So it was Mr. P's and Mr. Tarler, correct? That were the Two Friends. Oh, hey, Nathan. Nathan's local to me, you guys, or at least fairly local. We met up at the Pensacola Patio Pipers meetup a couple weeks back. That was fun. There's a place in town called Cordova Cigars. For a long time, they didn't carry much in the way of pipe tobacco and pipes, but they're getting back into it. Eddie, do you have a tobacco you purchased for sale that didn't sell? I'm sure I have. I can't think of. Well, yeah, the Kelly's coin. I don't think I ever sold Kelly's coin. Let's see. Yeah, I purchased some Kelly's coin. I always sample stuff before I put it on the site, you guys. I can tell you that just recently there was a pipe that I made the mistake of purchasing a bunch of, not a bunch, but I was going to introduce on the site, and then had a word of warning from someone here on one of my live streams, stay away from these pipes. They're not well engineered and they don't live up to the brand name that they carry. And I thought, that's weird. I've never run into that with that brand. And I hadn't put them on the site yet because I hadn't, picked one out and smoked it myself. But I did so, and they were right. That was not a well-engineered pipe. I didn't like it, especially at the price point. And so I reached out to my rep and sent those pipes back. Didn't put them on the site. But there's probably been others as well. I try to, like I get sample pipes and sample tobaccos before I place an order for the site, typically. But with that particular pipe, it was a rat race pipe, and I have every rat race pipe I've ever bought, tried, carried, what have you, has been good. That one was not. It was the Ahoy series. Not a fan of that particular series. So I'm going to be more careful in the future. I think that's just a one-off kind of fluke type line for Rattrays. Everything else I personally have from them and that I carry from them is good. That one just didn't live up. Yeah, I'm glad I got some Phoenix pipes back in too. I think I was sold out of them for about 3 months, if not longer. Completely sold out of the whole series. Distribution, production has just been so weird lately. The past 3 years, honestly. And I'm not so big that, when I hit under 100 of any one pipe, I reorder. I keep my quantities a lot lower than that. So I reordered before I sold out of all of the shapes. But by the time I got these 2 shapes back in stock, and there will be a couple more coming, but there'll be new shapes, because I was told the rod stock they have for those Phoenix pipes here's my 106, but the rod stock, that translucent swirl amber, that fiery orangish rod stock, they've got them in different sizes that will accommodate different shapes, various shapes. All the ones I've had in the past, except for the 69 and 106, are no longer available because that rod stock is gone. But I will have 2 more shapes at least before it's all said and done. But who knows when I'll get those in stock. I can't imagine it would be, you know, it's got to be sometime this year. Fingers crossed, you guys. I want to have them by the holiday season for sure. But I'm not in charge of that rodeo. Humdrum. Welcome, welcome. I'm sure I'm 5 minutes late with the welcome. Hillbilly Piper, I would love to say yes to that question. Will there ever be any more unfinished Savinellis? Not anytime soon, I don't believe. Now they might surprise me one day and say, oh, yep, we got them, we're bringing them back. But as of now, they are just discontinued. But, you know, things come in cycles. I could foresee maybe in 3 to 5 years they bring them back. But who knows? Question for you. I'm moving to Florida from New Jersey next month. Can a tobacco dealer purchase my collection of pipe tobacco? That's a good question. And I don't have a good answer. I would think yes. As long as they have a tobacco retailer's license. And as long as it's still sealed, you know, we're talking sealed tins, I don't see why not. But I can't say with 100% certainty. But I would think it would be like, you know, buying estate pipes from somebody or used pipes and reselling them as used pipes. I would think they could resell pipe tobacco sealed up as vintage. I don't get into the vintage or estate pipes or tobaccos yet. Never say never, but It's not a road I've really gone down. Now, I have sold estate pipes on my site on occasion, but they've been from my personal collection. Thanks, Humdrum. Yeah, Nathan, where did you find that Series 3 unfinished? On eBay or whatnot? Here in the United States, the Pipe Nook was the only place to get the filtered, the 9mm filtered versions of Series 3 pipes. They were sold in Europe, but nobody else carried them here except for me, which was nice. It was something unique for people to come to the Pipe Nook for. Now the Phoenix series is that, and so I was really bummed I was sold out of them for so long. And hopefully I'll have more stuff like that in the future. Oh, the Country Squire had some. Interesting. Or one. Yeah. Everybody don't call the Country Squire because it's probably just one pipe. I don't know. I didn't see any there when I was there a couple of months ago, or back in February now. I'm surprised they lasted that long, even at a local place. Because I think the Series 3s were discontinued like 2 years ago at this point. Hello from South Brazil. Is the popularity of the 673KS decreasing? Not a single one in the 2023 new Savinelli lines. No, I don't think so. I still sell a pretty good bit of the 673 shape across all the different lines that they can be found in that I carry, as well as some 8673s in the Rossi lines. Savinelli in their newer lines just tend to play with various shapes. They don't always include the 673. I don't know what their decision basis is for what shapes go on what lines, quite honestly. There are plenty of lines where I wish they would put the 320 and the 673 in every line, because those are probably the two best selling shapes that people want, with some others being like the 626, the 642. I honestly have no idea why the 644 isn't being used as much as it is, more than it is. The 644 is a great pipe. Have I ever thought of using a meerschaum bowl on my pipe instead of using pipe filters? I mean, I've got meerschaum pipes. I've got a couple of meerschaum pipes. I still personally feel the need for pipe filters. I know not everybody does, but I've tried them, you know, without a filter. And I get meerschaum pipes. The two that I have are 9mm filtered. So the filters went in those pretty quick. All right, have a good evening, Papa Bear. It's about supper time for me too. Those Zulus look a good bit like Dublins to me. Kind of modified Dublin. That's how I feel about pipe filters myself, Humdrum. You know, you guys have heard me say it over and over, but I wouldn't be able to smoke nearly as much as I would like to if I didn't have pipe filters. I would probably smoke once or twice a week, maybe, before I discovered charcoal pipe filters. And they just worked for me like magic. So now I can smoke two to 5 bowls a day and not have an issue. But that's just me. Your mileage may vary, you know. Yeah, tongue bite sucks. If I had to fight with tongue bite, I mean, that's why I almost gave up on pipe smoking. Thanks, Nathan. I'm glad to. It's funny when I go to pipe meetups or pipe shows, I'm still slightly there's still just a slight stigma. I don't want to say I'm embarrassed, but there's just a slight twinge of feeling a little less than when I load up a filter in a pipe at a pipe show or a pipe meetup. That's probably not I mean, I mean, I don't feel embarrassed about using pipe filters. I don't feel ashamed about it, or like I'm not a real pipe smoker or anything like that. But it's just like a residual kind of feeling, almost like Catholic guilt or something. I'm not Catholic, but I've heard quite a bit from people about residual Catholic guilt. Probably have my own version of Baptist guilt for not reading my Bible enough. Which is true. I should read my Bible more than I do. But if you do it out of guilt, that's not the right motivation. What's the best 6mm filter in regards to draw? Seems like the draw is very restricted. Well, the White Elephant 6mm filters, to me, have the most restrictive draw. There aren't that many 6mm filters out there. So far, the best ones I've found are the Savinelli 6mm filters, which those are the ones I carry right now. Those are the only ones I carry right now. I used to carry the White Elephants, but have not restocked for that reason. Goodness, have we already gone an hour? You guys, that's crazy. One more relight. Yeah, I've heard the Valen filters, 6mm filters are good. I have not tried them yet. But the Savinellis work really well. I use them in my corncob pipes. I use them in my Savinelli 6mm filtered pipes. And I use them in my Dr. Graybo pipes. Anything a 6mm filter will fit in. For some reason, people tend to want a like wide open draw on their pipes, and they don't like feeling any sort of resistance at all. Doesn't really bother me all that much. Now, typically I find if I've got a draw that's too tight, it probably means I packed my bowl too tight, not necessarily the filter giving me problems. So I have to take the stem off and run a pipe cleaner down through that draft hole to the bottom of the bowl and unplug that hole. But even with a tightly packed pipe, which I rarely do, but with a tightly packed pipe and a pipe filter in place, I don't find that pipes feel any more constrictive than, you know, a cigar. Sometimes you get a really tightly packed cigar that is way more constrictive than a pipe. All right, you guys. I think we're going to call it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you guys are having a great pipe week. If you think about it, check out those two new, well, they're not new shapes, but those two Phoenix pipes that I've got in stock on the site. Get you a new pipe for Pipe Week if you haven't overspent already. I'm going to go rustle up some dinner, and y'all have a good rest of your evening. Chat with you soon.